Hello, Morongo Basin, and listeners around the world online at Z107.7 FM.com. Here is the Z107.7 Local News for Thursday, June 19th, 2025. A nude man walking on 29 Palms Highway is alleged to have fought with law enforcement and sexually assaulted a nurse and is now facing multiple charges, including attempted murder. On Saturday at approximately 8:10 p.m., a California Highway Patrol officer says they encountered a nude man walking in the middle of the roadway on 29 Palms Highway near La Honda Way in Yucca Valley. The suspect was identified as Eric Chung, a 26-year-old resident of Chula Vista. The CHP says that Chung ignored commands to leave the road and they attempted to physically remove him, but he violently resisted. The CHP says that a struggle began and Chung made violent and sexual threats to the CHP officer. A sergeant with the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department arrived to help subdue Chung, and he was taken into custody. Chung and the CHP officer were taken to High Desert Medical Center for treatment for minor injuries, and the CHP says that Chung sexually assaulted a nurse on duty. The CHP suspects that drugs were a factor in the incident. Eric Chung was arrested on suspicion of attempted murder and resisting arrest and is being held at the West Valley Detention Center without bail. He was arraigned in San Bernardino County Superior Court yesterday on felony charges of attempted murder, assault with a deadly weapon on police, resisting arrest, criminal threats, and misdemeanor sexual battery. He pled not guilty to all charges. The suspect in an attempted murder from 2024 turned himself in at the Sheriff's Morongo Basin Station this week. On March 24th, 2024, at 4 a.m., San Bernardino County Sheriff's deputies responded to an injury call near the intersection of Sunset Road and La Brisa Drive in Joshua Tree. The injured victim told deputies that Carl Tuscher, 61, assaulted him with a vehicle. The victim said that a third party then struck Tuscher with a vehicle in defense of the victim. Both Tuscher and the victim were taken to Desert Regional Medical Center for treatment for their injuries. Since his release from the hospital, a warrant was issued for Tuscher's arrest related to the attempted murder charge. On Monday, Tuscher arranged to have a friend drop him off at the Sheriff's Morongo Basin Station, where he turned himself in on the active warrant. Carl Tuscher was arrested on suspicion of attempted murder and is currently being held at the West Valley Detention Center on $1 million bail. He was arraigned in San Bernardino County Superior Court yesterday, where he entered not guilty pleas to charges of attempted murder and assault with a deadly weapon. The identity of the body found off Old Woman Springs Road on Tuesday has been released by the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department. Mark Camerlor, 52, from Orange, California, was found next to a boulder near the area known as the Johnson Valley Painted Rocks off of Old Woman Springs Road and Boddick Road. The Sheriff's Department has determined the cause of death to be suicide. Last night, the Morongo Valley Community Services District Board of Directors held their regular meeting. Reporter Gabriel Hart was in attendance and joins us with this recap.
In continued business, further discussions on whether Covington Park Management will be a standing committee or a 501c3 nonprofit was tabled until the board sees further community engagement. Discussions for a dog park and security camera installation were also tabled until next meeting. The board held a public hearing for the 2025-26 preliminary budget, followed by a 5-0 approval of the budget. Justin Marino of the Desert Region Fire Safe Council gave a presentation on their occupation of Fire Station Number 2, complete with mocked-up photos of the station that included a public cooling room and community training center in the former bays, disaster supply storage, office, and clean interior. Marino said all the upgrades to the building and subsequent services as a community hub for fire safety education will be coming from FEMA and Cal OES grants and will be of no cost to the CSD. The board voted 5-0 to move forward with the project, and Marino presented the options of a 1 to 2 year lease agreement for the rental of the facility, which the board will be forwarding to the CSD's attorney. The board also approved the Morongo Valley Fire Department's instructional service agreement with Copper Mountain College, where the fire department will receive financial reimbursement for training future firefighters through the college. The 1-year agreement will be effective starting this August. Reporting for Z107.7, I'm Gabriel Hart.
The nationwide celebration known as Juneteenth was officially declared a federal holiday by former President Joe Biden in 2021 and became the first new federal holiday since Martin Luther King Jr. Day was adopted in 1983. It also means there may be some closures that could affect your day-to-day. Here's online news editor Robert Hayden with more.
Juneteenth is celebrated today, and it's a federal holiday commemorating the emancipation of enslaved people in the United States in 1865. Because it's a federal holiday, government offices will be closed, as well as banks and most city and town offices as well. Post offices will be closed, and mail delivery will be resumed on Friday. Summer programs in the Morongo Unified School District will also be closed, along with school offices. In observance of the holiday, entrance into Joshua Tree National Park will be free today. A Juneteenth flag will be raised at 29 Palms City Hall at 8 a.m., and a Juneteenth observation was celebrated by the city on Saturday, June 14th. You can learn more about Juneteenth by visiting a link at this story on our website, Z107.7fm.com. Reporting for Z107.7 News, I'm Robert Hayden.
And finally, the city of 29 Palms is going through a growth spurt in both the public and private sectors with new businesses, more housing, and commercial development. On the Z107.7 Up Close show tomorrow, host Gary Daigneault will talk with Community Development Director Keith Gardner. Gardner has a master's in urban and regional planning from the University of Kansas and brings a unique blend of public and private sector experience to the city. Learn all about the planning process and get a peek at what the future could bring to the city of 29 Palms this Friday at 10 a.m. on Z107.7 and available as a podcast later on at Z107.7fm.com. That's our local news. Hear local news 7 times a day, 7 days a week at 7, 8, 9, noon, 4, 5, and 6. If you hear about news happening, let us know. Email us at tips@Z107.7fm.com. Reporting for the Morongo Basin News Leader, the award-winning Z107.7 Local News, I'm News Director Jeff Harmatz.